All right, guys, welcome again. This is Coach's Corner with episode number 3. We have with us today July. You're a commissioner owner of the league. Welcome, welcome. July, say hello to everybody.
What's up, guys? Welcome.
Yes, yes, yes. So we are going to sit down and put him in the coach's corner here and ask him some questions, let you guys get to know him a little bit, what makes him tick, how long he's been doing this, all kinds of good stuff. So let's start a little bit with your name, your age, man. How old are you? A little bit about yourself.
As anybody that I've recruited from Facebook knows, my name is Charles Larson, the fourth, actually. Um, got no shame of putting that out there. If y'all want to look me up, be my guest. I'm 34 years old. I've been doing this for a while.
Okay. 34 years old, man. He's still a baby. He thinks he's old. He's still a baby. All right. So where do you live?
Right. Well, I've lived just about everywhere in my life. My what you would call a military brat, but I currently live in Georgia, Middle Georgia.
Georgia. Okay. What brought you to Georgia? Well, why are you living in Georgia?
The military. I My dad was stationed on Fort Stewart, um, and I went to a college. I actually was supposed to go to a college with a girl. She backed out, but I still went to the college, which was in Middle Georgia. So I ended up getting my degree and getting a job in Middle Georgia that pays enough for me not to be able to move. So at the moment, so
There you go. Okay. Talk about the early years a little bit. What kind of kid were you in high school, man? What'd you do? What didn't you do? Hung out with the jocks, cocks. What'd you do?
um, had a rough upbringing, to be honest with you. I moved out when I was in sophomore in high school. I played football till then, but I couldn't anymore after that because I had to get a job. Um, so I ended up working, and like ever so I didn't get to play as much as I would have. End up having to play like intramurals in college and stuff to make up for it, but it is what it is. So I it's gonna sound weird. I hung out with the druggies a lot, and I don't do any drugs, but they were a crowd that got me, I guess. So I don't know. Weird high school. College was much
Everybody,
better.
everybody needs a designated driver, brother.
I was that guy.
Okay. All right, man. So what do you do for a living?
Right now, I'm a coordinator at Frito Lay. So pretty much what I do is I help make sure people or that are running these lines, the chip making lines and the chip bagging lines, do their job. So uh, pretty much put out fires for anything they need.
He's the chip man, guys. He's the chip
That's
man.
correct. My failed air. I was a air traffic controller for a slight period of my life, but that did not work out. So now I make chips for a living because that's the next step down, right?
Hey, why not, man? Air traffic controller to chips. Can't deny. So the next question I'm sure everybody wants to know is what's your favorite fucking chip?
I don't know, man. I used to have one. I used to love Doritos, man, but I make Doritos, and it's just hard to love something you can have whenever you want. I guess I still kind of like Cheetos
Yeah,
because I don't
okay.
make those too.
We'll make those, huh? All right. So I got to send you some money to get my Dorito supply up. Anyway, so what else we got going on? We got some kids, married. What's
No,
that situation look like?
I've been engaged twice, but never been able to get that done. I'm currently with a girl though, so we'll see how that got moved in with her recently. So it's going well. See how that goes.
Notice how he
Long run.
clarified girl. But we'll see about that.
Yeah, anybody that's been in the league long enough has seen my previous podcast with my ex-girlfriend. So I
I'm
do this.
just playing with you, man.
Uh,
Okay. In real life, man, like I said, I've played with you for years, and I know you a little bit. But for some of these guys who don't know you, you are a Vikings fan. You want to talk a little bit about that team? How do you feel about them in real life? The direction they're going. How do the real Vikings and what they do affect your game? Well, we can talk about that later. The first, just get your opinion on the Vikings, and then we'll move on to that.
been diehard. I grew up. I said I had a pretty hard upbringing, and the one thing that I enjoyed, I used to be a huge baseball fan when I was a kid. And in '98, the Vikings drafted Randy Moss. My dad was a Vikings fan, so again, I didn't really watch football. I liked baseball as a Dodgers and Yankee. I liked watching the Dodgers and Yankees back then. But then I saw Randy Moss at his rookie year, and I think he was doing so well. We got like 4 primetime games, and the things I seen that man do, I don't think I've watched a non-playoff baseball game since that year, because the things I saw Randy Moss do on the field were absolutely amazing. You super freak, you know. And I to this day think Randy Moss was the best athletically gifted wide receiver in the NFL, and that's Jerry Rice, whatever you want to say. He didn't have the drive that Jerry Rice had, but had he, Jerry Rice could not have been able to compete with him stats-wise, because the only wide receiver in the NFL with over 3 seasons over 16 touchdowns. And one of them was an NFL record 23 touchdowns. So Randy Moss was a huge thing for me watching the Vikings. And I've been through their ups and downs, and it's been a lot of downs. It's been a lot of missed field goals. My first year I was a Vikings fan. Gary Anderson missed his first field goal in the NFC Championship that would have beat the Falcons. So I was prepared then. We also had the Blair Walsh missed kick, and then the Brett Favre interception. So we've had some downs, and then we've also had Brooks Bullinger and Chester Taylor as our premier offensive guys. So it's been rough. How I feel about them right now, it's not a rough. It's kind of a rough time to be a Viking fan. I've loved Zimmer for years. I've liked Kirk Cousins pretty much his whole career, but I feel like they're both letting me down right now as a Vikings fan, and I feel like Zimmer, he turned our team around. We were 3-13 the year before he came. We had the 32nd ranked defense for 3 years in a row, and he turned, like I said, he single-handedly turned it around. We're a top 5 defense every year now. We're perennial, I wouldn't say Super Bowl contender, but playoff contender. But I feel like we're in that point where a lot of teams get to where, all right, well, where do you go now? Is that where you're happy being as a perennial playoff contender, or do you want to win a Super Bowl one day? And I feel like Zimmer is not new school enough, and I love Zimmer. And this is I just came to this decision this year that he's too run heavy. He's too focused on running the ball and not turning the ball over to play an effective style and offense that's going to get you to the Super Bowl. And he likes running 3, 2, and 3 tight end sets in order to be able to run the football, because our offensive line is such bad because our GM ignores it. So it puts us in the point where we're either running the football, running 1970 style offenses, and we can't pass. And then now we got Diggs mad, and we get blown out by the Bears because they shut down the run and they dared us to pass, and we couldn't because we have no passing plays apparently. And we don't run shotgun, it seemed like, to the 4th quarter. And that's just not how the game is played today. So we started the NFC Championship. Last time we went to the NFC Championship game, we started out the very same way, 2-2 with a blowout loss to the Steelers back then. Got absolutely decimated, and we rolled off 7-1 past that. I hope that happens again, but I don't know. Our offense looks very disgruntled right now, and until we get a passing attack going and Zimmer realizes that rushing, while wins you games, you also have to be able to pass. You cannot. We are the only team in the league with more rushing yards than passing yards. That's not how you win football games. Sorry for that long-winded response, but disappointed with the Vikings.
All right. So where are they going to end up in the end of the year?
If you asked me before the season with the addition of Gary Kubiak, I would say 10-6 or 11-5 were not out of the realm. Now, with the offense I see them rolling out, I would say 8-8 or 9-7 seems to be our ceiling.
Okay. How does that translate to your NSL team, and what do you anticipate that season to unfold out to?
I actually try to imitate the Vikings, especially their defense, as best as I can, as best, I never played defense growing up that much. I played offense, so I don't know the X's and O's as well as I don't as I could. Um, but I've never ran a 3-4 in Madden, even though the 3-4 is the premier better defense. Everybody knows that in Madden, but I've never ran one because the Vikings have never ran one. So I don't know the first thing about a 3-4 defense because the Vikings have never ran a 3-4 defense. On offense, I do what I think the Vikings should do, and that's rely on their playmakers. I like to spread them out, get Dalvin, get Diggs and Thielen involved quick and often, and then have Dalvin run it down their throat with a spread offense. And anybody that's played me knows I like to spread it out. I and get the ball to those guys. I like to pass and running to keep balance, but pass mostly. So.
Okay, so where are you going to end up? What's the season look like for you? First of all, how's it gone so far? What's your record? What have been the games? Tell me about some highlight games. Where are you going?
1-1. With my one loss being against Magic, I broke off a 75-yard touchdown first play of the game. Kicked it off to him. He was 3 plays into the drive, and my power went out, and I had to go to work. So I took an L there.
By the way, you're 8-1-1. Just FYI.
I had no idea. So that was my loss. I did get a tie with some other NFC guy. I don't know who that was. Had opportunities to win and to lose that game. Looking back on it now, I can't be mad at the tie because I had opportunities to lose. I had opportunities to win too, for sure, but I did have opportunities to lose, and not taking an L is better than taking one. So I think I'm good. I think I'm too pass heavy to win the Super Bowl this year. Anybody who's played me knows what I'm doing right now is I'm willing to throw the 2 or 3 interceptions I have to a game in order to keep my passing offense going. So I'm going to throw 3 interceptions, hopefully pass for 4 and get the W. But when I play tougher competition, that's probably not going to work. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm just going to keep playing and see what happens. I anticipate making the playoffs. I think 8-1-1. That's what I am. I'm about to beat Josh this week because he's on vacation. So I'll be 9-1-1. I think that might secure me a playoff bid.
Okay, so where are you going to finish the season at?
I don't 12-1-1. I don't know. As long as I make the playoffs, I don't care what my record is. I have one goal: make the playoffs. And then
12-1-1 doesn't add up to 16. Last time I checked,
2-1.
Okay.
12-3.
You're still not quite at 16, but we're going to learn some math tonight.
I've been at work and I came home, had me a drink here, so I'm trying.
Okay, so you think you're gonna be you're gonna walk out of here with 2 losses and a tie, however
I still have to play you. I still have to play Berkey. There's still people I got to play, man. I don't look down on any opponent. I played Bates last year when I was like 15-0, I think it was my 15-1 season, and the year I won the Super Bowl. And Bates, he was 6-10 that year and slapped me around like a baby. So, no, I don't take anybody lightly. I'm gonna get some losses here in the season, no doubt, and I just hope to get them out the way for the playoffs.
With that being said, then who do you anticipate? Let's shake out the playoff picture for me now that we're pretty much halfway through the year. Shake out the NFC for me, and I'll go through some of the leaders. I got them pulled up here for you.
All right. I know Magic at 7. I think 7-2. Let's see, 7-2. I anticipate him going in there for sure. The Logical Spy 7-2. People don't give Logical as much credit as he deserves. He's kind of under the radar a lot, but he is a good user, good player in general.
All right, so we'll start with the AFC North.
Okay.
AFC North, it's a runaway. You got one playoff team. It looks like 9-1 Steelers. That's trending. So that's pretty much a lock. AFC South, crazy interesting battle there. 5-5 team, 4-5 team, 4-5 team, and a 4-5 team. So all
Yeah,
four of those teams are pretty much a game out. So
I got Marvin in that. I think he's the best player in that division. He just has
man,
he's not
see,
used to it yet.
I'm going Titans there. I'm going Titans there. That's my take anyway. Next up, we'll go AFC East. Dolphins are 7-3. The Bills are 5-5. The Patriots are 4-5.
All right. If prior to the update, H2O was killing it. The update has really blown his game away. He's 1-3 since then, since that particular update, and he has not been able to get his game going. So I'm gonna have to go Nemesis on that.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna stay with my boy there. I think he'll get back on track. He'll figure it out.
The Bills have finally figured out how to use Kareem Hunt. I can't bet against them. We all know if Nemesis can run the ball, he can.
No question. If he can figure it out, he's gonna get it done, no doubt. Broncos are in the AFC West. That division's struggling, man. Next closest person to him is 4-7. So,
which is really sad because Josh was going to be on vacation for 2 weeks, so he is not making the playoffs. He will finish out 6-11, 6-10. I'm sorry, and so it's going to be a three-way race between the Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers, and it doesn't seem like any of them want it. So
that's going to be interesting.
I would say the Raiders can creep up and take that. I really respect.
I'm going to agree with you. I had a plan everyone in that division, man. That dude was a tough out, so I'm going to agree with you there. NFC North, that's good old Lions sitting on top of that one by one game though. It's very possible you could sneak that one back in. I got a bunch of tough games coming up. I've got you coming up. I've got Magic coming up. I've got what's his name, Verkey. So I've got some tough games coming up too. So
can we just mention how bad it looks that me and you and Rabbit are all 8-1? Like it seems like we're making the league just so we can win games.
Well,
let me just say this though. I asked Coach to do this, and last year he was not an 8-0 type of player. I mean, you were good last year, but you were not 8-0 type. So
no. I think the biggest difference for me anyway, between last year and this year is my time. I wasn't retired from football last year. I was still coaching and doing this and a bunch of other things. So I think that, and I think I'll put a lot of my getting better into Diego's hands, man. I think I played that guy like 50 times before the league started. And those games, figuring out what I wanted to do offensively and defensively, really helped me. And we played so many times, man, that I got to get a good flow and rhythm for what I wanted to do. So when we started the season, I wasn't figuring things out. I knew what my game plan is. I knew what I wanted to do, at least with this Lion team. With the Bronco team in ASL, man, I think I've won 3 games. I'm like 3-9 or something like that, 3-8, whatever it is. And it's not that I'm throwing games or anything like that. It just the game plans are so different with the teams and their personnel and what they can and can't do. And I struggle mightily with Denver's defense, believe it or not. You would think their defense is better, so I'd play better with them. But I don't. I play much better with the Lions defense than I do with the Broncos defense. Don't know why, but just the way it goes. Probably middle linebacker play. The Broncos have none, and the Lions, I traded for Kendricks and got a couple rookies that are there. At least one rookie that's pretty good. So, all right, we'll move on. So anyway, we didn't answer that one, but what do you think there? Me or you? Flip a coin.
You never bet against yourself, man.
Right,
you always push for yourself.
NFC South, we got the Panthers at 9-1, Saints at 6-4.
Yeah, that's done. That's Rabbit. Rabbit's over here bragging about how he hasn't seen any of the issues a lot of us have seen. He's over here at 8-1. No wonder why he hasn't. He's taking. Yeah. I'll give him. He just got mollywopped by the Falcons.
I will say this about Rabbit. I haven't played him, but his stats don't indicate he's dominating as much as his win-loss record does, which makes me kind of question his competition level in that division over there.
I played him once before, I think, like when Madden first dropped, and he mollywopped me, so I don't know.
Could
that
be.
was a Madden. dropped though, so who knows? That was before any fact.
NFC East, you got the Redskins, man, 7-2 Magic, and then you've got NFC West, which is pretty stacked and loaded. It looks like this is one of the most loaded divisions, apparently. You got 49ers at 8-2. You got the Seahawks at 7-3, and you got the Cardinals at 7-4. So you got, 3 teams with 7 wins plus already.
Yeah, let me I gotta give it to Illogical though. King is fine. He's a good player. TRC, always one of the better users in the league. But Illogical seems to know the game. When you play him, I always give advantages to people who I feel like beat me through game planning over Madden usage, and I feel like Illogical is one of the guys that can do that. TRC will use you like no other. And King, I haven't played 7-3 King. I played him last year, so I can't give any feedback to how he plays this year. But Illogical is always a tough game, no matter when you play him, and it's never because of Madden. It's because of him. He knows, he's throwing stuff at you, random stuff at you. You don't know what he's doing on offense, and I always got to give the upper hand to that guy. That I don't know what's coming, so I'm going to give it to Illogical.
Okay, so let's take it overall. Who's your Super Bowl favorite?
Coach, you're due, right?
I am due, but I do not think this team is ready. I think I might be ready next year. I'm a piece or two away. I think, but that's here nor there. My favorite right now, after watching some games, seeing what he's doing in ASL, is Magic. I think he's the team to beat. I'm looking forward to playing him here next week, I think. So yeah, I think he's the favorite. So
I was really sad the power in our game. That was gonna match up to be a good game. I could tell. Like I said, I got that 75-yard touchdown on the first play of the game, so I was feeling hyped about it. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna whoop Magic's ass." He's gonna. But then power went out. I don't think I was gonna really whoop his ass. Magic's a tough competitor. I'll give you that. If Magic won, I wouldn't be surprised. He's due. He's a good owner. Magic is probably one of the simmest players I've played ever. The dude is upstart, and as anybody, you're never going to get anything not legit from Magic. So I think he would represent NSL well in a Super Bowl.
All right, well, we're done with that. Back to some personal crap. Anything else you want to tell us before we get to signing off here?
I'm pretty excited for my ASL team. Let me I didn't really bring that up, but I joined as the Rams. I just didn't like the feel of them. Their uniforms were bothering me, and anybody that knows me knows in order to play good, I got to look good, and I just couldn't get into those uniforms, man. So the Giants got open. Danny Dimes was. Somebody asked me, "Is like, oh, I see you jumped over to the Giants with Saquon." I'm like, no, it wasn't because of Saquon. It's because of Danny Dimes. So I'm pretty excited. I played one game with him and got a W versus the Cowboys. Me and the Jets didn't have a good time, so I had to sim that one, unfortunately. But I'm curious to see. I think I'm gonna have a good draft pick. Probably draft some wide receivers. Get that defense more into a 4-3 front that I'm used to, and I'm gonna have some fun with them Giants. So.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see you over there back in ASL. By the way, welcome back to ASL. I'm glad to have you back there.
Thanks.
And so let's see. We've talked about where you're from. We've talked about what school you went to. We've talked a little bit about that. How long have you been running NSL and ASL? When did it start? Tell us a little bit about the early days.
Oh, okay. NSL started 6 years ago. ASL started 4 years ago. A lot of the old people know NSL started. We used to be in a league used to make a few leagues together, but the league that we directly broke off from was called Clutch Sports, and it was a good league, decently ran. But anybody that remembers, they allowed some particular user to run rampant in there because he played his games, and they overlooked some of his discrepancies, such as sending some unprofessional pictures to other users. Remember, anybody hears about the Waka situation, but so we
yeah, I remember sending dick pics. I mean, we're all adults here. What's going on here?
Yeah, we sent dick pics to Waka. Dude sent a picture of his dick to Waka. Who doesn't remember? And so us as admins, we had 5 admins in there, voted to boot him out, and the owner of the league decided that to not go with his admin's decision, and I didn't like that, so I said fuck it, and I created NSL. I took as many people with me as I could, which was pretty much all of you. There's 20 people in NSL that are from that league, and I hate the way that it had to happen, but you don't send dick pics to fucking grown adults, man. Come on, we're all dudes. You know, we're grown adult men here. And we had a philosophy, a sim over win and cut the drama out. And I think we've done fair. There's no drama in NSL. I think we're really good on that. We had some when we first started. It was an election year, and we allowed some politics talks because we thought we were all adults. Realized that's a bad idea. No more politics talks. We got rid of that. And since then, we've had I think a pretty drama-free league. We've had some issues, every league does, but we've been pretty good.
Wait a minute. I can't talk politics? What the fuck?
And then ASL started because we had so many people on the waiting list for NSL, and I ran it year 1. Rabbit, I guess this is his 3rd year because Rabbit ran it. I might have ran it year 1 and 2. Rabbit ran it last year, and you're in charge this year. So, and let me say this: How time consuming is it? Were you expecting this?
I'm expecting it only because I've ran leagues before, and I wouldn't have volunteered again. Last year, if the timing would have happened this way and you came to me, I would have said no. This year, I happen to be retired from coaching, and it creates a void. This kind of fills that void weirdly, time-wise, as far as, this time of the year, man, I'd be stuck in front of game film, breaking down opponents, breaking down different live game film. And now I just kind of put that energy towards the league, creating things like this, interviews to get to know people. And in addition to that, going through all of the necessary things, as you're very aware of. But again, it's timing, and it fit at the time of my life. It worked out. So long answer to your question is no, not surprised. But at the same time, it is extensive and it is very time consuming. I'd easily say 15 hours a week, 20 hours a week. Easy.
Yeah. So, my bad, but kind of got off track there. But to give a little thing, NSL's been that long, but I've been playing in Madden leagues since 06. I believe it was 06. I played Madden since 96, 90. No. Sorry. The year Randy Moss came out, 98. Madden 98 was my first Madden. And I couldn't afford that Madden. It was on Super Nintendo. So I had to get the Madden the year before. I don't remember what year it was, but I got the year before Randy Moss came out. I had to create Randy Moss on the Vikings. And, it was stupid. You had to hit buttons to create, see how fast he goes. And, so I can never hit the buttons fast enough to give him his 4.240. So I had to create Madden. So I played Madden since 90. I guess it was 98, I think. It might have been earlier. It might have been 96. I don't know. It was an older Madden that I started playing. And then in 2003, I had gotten a PS2, became a lot more. This was, I didn't have anything doing with my life, so I started playing. I had graduated from high school, wasn't going to college yet. I became really good at Madden. Started playing in some tourneys, local tourneys. Won them. Went to some bigger tourneys and did not win those. And then, like I said, in about 06, when I was in college, I started playing in leagues. And I played in, I found one league, I can't remember, Red Zone. It was called Red Zone Football League. On a site that I don't think is there anymore called Virtual Sports, and I think Jug probably remembers this. This is where me and Jug met. And we were in that, and then that folded. So the next one up was Clutch, also ran on Virtual Sports. I think they alternated to another website. We and that was Clutch, and that was ran by Miami Flash, but he liked basketball better. Gave the ownership over to Cubs fan, and that's right before NSL. So. And I was an admin in that league. Actually, Lacey was an admin in that league too. I think Lacey was an admin before me. It's kind of fucked up. I joined the league, became an admin, and then overthrew him. But whatever. Just waiting for that from you, Coach. You ready to overthrow me?
For what? I have zero interest at this point to change anything. For the most part, you're, and people that don't know this because they don't work with you on an admin level behind the scenes, you're very much not a dictator. And so if it was a situation where I felt you were skewing things to your style of play or making things to your advantage or any of the other things I've heard other people complain about, then obviously there'd be an issue. But for the most part, every private talk we've had, whether it be me and you alone or me and you with Rabbit or me and you with any other admin, you've never really shoved any ideas down anyone's throat. It's always been an open forum. And so as long as that continues, I don't think you'll ever have to worry about an overthrow from me or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah, well, I've never been to the point where I think I know better than everyone. I think my ideas are, I've had stupid ideas before, and I've ran them by Rabbit, and Rabbit's like, that's a stupid idea. And you're like, you know what? No, you're right. That's a stupid idea. But you know what? It sounded good in the moment. So I have a lot of issues like that. And anybody that's talked to me knows a lot of the rules I make aren't necessarily to help me. They're things that I'm doing well in Madden that I'm like, this isn't right. I shouldn't be able to do this. So I'll make rules that'll actively hurt me in my game. So it's not about me. It's about making a game that we can play that feels like football, which EA makes harder than it should be, but whatever. We do our best.
All right, well, we're getting to the 30-minute mark here, so went a little over than I'd like to go, but talk a little bit real quick. Rivalries, man. Call out some guys. Tell me who your rivalries are, who you can't wait to play next. Give me something to stir the pot with.
I always love playing Magic. Magic's great. He's a beast of a user. It's a good game every time. Sim, no issues. I like playing people that I have to think when I'm playing, rather than just beat them at Madden, if that makes any sense to you. Coach, you're another one like that. I'm not, I think when we were playing, you said that this year I like to distribute the ball to who's open rather than who's, a certain guy. So that proves you're thinking. You're trying to take away what I'm trying to do, and I like that. You never do one certain thing over and over again. You do what works. So Magic's always fun. Country Kane, the Raiders. I know it doesn't seem he's in the AFC. I don't play him, but maybe once a season. But I always look forward to it. It's a good, fun game. He beat me, took me out of the playoffs last year. This year I got my revenge, but I probably needed that last win more than this one. I went to college with Bates, so he's always a fun guy to play just because I like beating up on him. Like I said, other than that, I think those are my main people. Magic, I think me and Matt, if I had to give one person, though, that's my main guy. Magic helped me for my first Super Bowl by picking me off like 6 times. Anybody that saw that, and so I'm and we've had good games. So I guess he would be my number one villain if I had to have one.
Okay. All right. Well, I love how we just shit all over Verky, and he's not made it where you guys just used to battle constantly, and now he's just sitting at 5-5, and you just shit all over him. So I love that. That's awesome.
Verky's a Packers rival. He's a hated Packers rival. I'm not going to sit here and act like I enjoy playing the Packers and Verky. Nothing about me and Verky. Always bullshit. There's always crazy shit happening in them. I mean, it's not. That's not a thinkers man's game when you play Verky. It's a whoever the fuck wins. And I'm not to say
I
it's
don't think so, man. When I play him, it's a thinking man's game. I gotta catch him when he's pissed off, because when he's pissed off, he plays like shit. So I just gotta catch him, like, I think him dropping ASL helped him, because when he would play like shit in ASL, I could just catch him in the NSL because he'd be pissed off and wouldn't play well. So.
I don't know. In our games, it's always something crazy. It's always Adam Thielen one-handing some shit. 1 year, he did a fucking 360 one-handed catch with Devontae Adams to win the game. It's always something stupid with Verky. It's not fun because it's always some stupid shit that wins us the game. Even this year, we disconnected 4 times before we finally got the fucking game. It's always something with Verky, man. It's a rivalry. It's not a fun one, I guess I should say. It's one that you just like, fuck, I gotta play fucking Verky again. Let's see what crazy shit's gonna happen this week. So,
yeah.
not gonna shit on Verky. I just don't look forward to playing him because it's always fucking something. I'll be down
like
Verky and gotta come back, and then I'll actually come back, and now he's mad. I'm fucking, mad. My team.
I gotta stir the pot, because if he beats you, more the better. I gotta stir the pot. So hopefully he gets over there and whoops your ass the next time you guys play, puts another loss on your record. I need that cushion, so when we play, it's not as tense.
Verky's is insane, and the only reason I can beat Verky sometimes is because anybody that plays me knows I'll test a user in a heartbeat. I don't give a fuck. Show me you can use her, and that's why sometimes I'm really good, and that's why I get beat by Magic in the Super Bowl. So.
Well, that's how it goes sometimes. Well, I think we've picked out our winner for the ASL. NSL. I'm kind of stuck. My favorite in the ASL, I think, right now is probably the Packers. Plays a pretty clean game. I think he's going to take it. I think it's going to be in the Super Bowl. I'd probably say Packers and Bills, maybe.
I haven't seen either of them. Kristaps, I've seen highlights of him. To be honest, if I've seen highlights of you, that's probably not a good thing. But I haven't seen any highlights of the Packers or gameplay of him. I don't know anything about his games.
Good, solid user, man. Good, solid user. Remember, he had some things he had to work out in the beginning, but the last couple games that I saw anyway were pretty solid. So.
Yeah, generally you don't want me to have to see your game. If I see your game, that's probably means because I had to watch it. If I have to watch it.
I think with the Bills, and the only reason I said that is I think he has this tendency to do what it takes to win. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. And that's why you've seen video on him. But But with that being said, I still think he'll clean it up. He's got the user skills and the understanding of the game, hopefully to take it to the next level. He's still got some ways to go, in my opinion, before he can graduate. But and I want to make sure we're clear. Just because you make a Super Bowl in ASL does not mean you're NSL material. It just means you made a Super Bowl in ASL.
So we had one dude quit last year because he made the Super Bowl, and I called somebody else up. He assumed that he got the call up. Sorry.
Yeah, that's not what it is. A lot more to do with that, guys.
There are some people I like playing in ASL though, and I've played quite a few times. Oliver, he was actually NSL material. He didn't get booted back down. He had a baby, had to quit right when he was about to be called up. So he was fun. But some of the new guys, your first interview, B-Jax, his about halfway through the interview, maybe a little bit later, he talked about getting feedback about running 3-4 a little much. That was me. I gave him that feedback. But I got to say, I played him 5 or 6 times. It's been pretty fun to play him for the most point. Gifted, the Jets fan, or the guy that's the Gifted Brown, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's pretty fun to play. The couple times I played him, there's some fun people to play in ASL. Oh shit, my bad. So I haven't played any of these top guys. I haven't played the Packers. I haven't played the Bills, but the people that are always looking for games are generally NSL material. They'll be in NSL eventually. So
yeah, I agree with that. I think there's at least 5 or 6 guys that are ready to be called up. So, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I look forward to closing out the season. But again, thank you for your time, man, and sharing a little bit about your life with us. We will close this edition of Coach's Corner out. And you guys that are out there, man, I'm not going to hound you down, look for you for interviews. I understand certain guys are shy, but it's kind of part of the community, man. We like to see who you are, get to know you. So please hit me up if you have any interest. Once again, thank you, July, and we're out, you guys.
All right.